This is an exercise to release crystallized thought patterns from the DNA and cellular memory imprint. By moving the focus of your conscious attention into a slower moving pulsation pattern, you will be able to release the thought patterns stored within your cells. When you relax your mental focus and slow your heart and breathing rates, your consciousness expands and begins to pulsate faster, while the pulsation rhythm of your body's particles slows. From this quickened state of consciousness, you can then consciously shift the particle pulsation speed of your awareness into very slow pulsation rhythms. First, you will visualize moving your consciousness through a dark tunnel with a bright light at its end. It's the same effect as in a near-death experience, which occurs for the following reason. Moving into the light represents the quickening of the particle pulsation rhythm of your consciousness, for which you are aiming in this exercise. You perceive the dark tunnel as your consciousness moves from D4 pulsation rhythm through the 90-degree shift in angular rotation of particle spin that exists between the D4 and D5 frequency bands, and into the faster pulsation rhythms of D5 frequency. The light at the end of the tunnel represents the collective reality fields of the D5 frequency bands and the D5 consciousness contained there within, as viewed in condensed form by consciousness stationed in lower dimensions. One moves closer to the light as the particle pulsation rhythm of the consciousness accelerates to the rhythm of the D5 frequency bands. The light will appear to take a spherical form like a blazing sun as the consciousness nears the D5 pulsation rhythm. One merges with the light when the consciousness has reached D5 pulsation rhythm. This is the process you will encounter after death, but it can be consciously used while you are still in your body for many different purposes. When you perceive the light, you are seeing the fifth dimension. Once visualizing yourself in the light, submerge yourself within it and feel that light move through every cell in your body. Imagine it moving through your DNA. This raises the pulsation rhythm of the body's particles by infusing them within the D5 frequency patterns carried by your accelerated consciousness, bringing what is stored within the cells closer to the range of your conscious perception. When you view your body from this D5 state of consciousness, you will notice areas of the body that appears quite light-filled and others that appear dark. The dark areas represent parts of the body in which slower pulsating particles are stored. The dark areas are the karmic imprints you seek to release. Next, move your attention into one of the dark areas as fully as possible. Feel its sensations and become aware of the pulsation rhythm of the energy in that internal space. It will have a distinct feel of rhythm that you can detect if you move your attention into it. Become aware of the difference between the pulsation rate of your consciousness and that of the dark area. Then consciously slow the pulsation rate of your consciousness to match that of the dark area. Feel yourself moving down into the blackness of the dark space, slowing the rhythm of your consciousness, spreading out and becoming one with the area. As you proceed to move your consciousness into the area, you will feel a distinct sensation of the stopping of expansion. This occurs when your consciousness has fully expanded itself into the morphogenetic field of that dark area thought form. You have become one with the thought pattern. You are the pattern. You do not have to identify the contents of the thought patterns in order to release it. Though you may begin to receive ideas, images, or emotional qualities from the thought forms as you proceed through this exercise. Let the impressions pass by your attention and keep focused on the exercise. In merging your awareness with the dark thought form, you have moved the station of your consciousness from the D4 level through the D5 level and down into the frequency band in which that thought form originated. You have entered its source of creation and merged your identity with that of the identity who created the pattern. You have become the creator of the thought pattern. Being its creator, you can now change it. Once you have become one with the crystallized thought form, sense the shape and boundaries of its energy structure. It will have a form, a structure of energy that you can feel out with your consciousness. Feel your awareness expand into every layer of the energy form, as if you are filling a balloon with water or a box with sand, until you can feel your consciousness take up every inch of area within that structure of the thought form. Once you feel completely expanded into the thought form, begin to recreate it. Call light to yourself. Imagine that you can see light streaming in from a beam above you, as if there was a sun positioned above your consciousness. Breathe light from that sun into your consciousness and feel it make the pulsation rhythm of the thought form and your consciousness move faster. See the dark area that it presented to you become more and more light-filled. Begin to hear the sound pitch of the energy in the thought form and hear its frequency rise as more and more light enters the thought form. Allow the sound and sensation of expanding light to fill your entire consciousness and continue to draw light in until you sense a distinct stop to the sensation of light expanding. The thought form has now reached its maximum holding capacity for UHF energy. Now imagine that the sun above you is moving down into your consciousness and the thought form. When the sun enters the thought form explodes and the crystalline energy substance of which its morphogenetic field was made literally blows apart. The thought form no longer exists as a reality within your body or consciousness. Its particles of energy substance have been released. The energy reality of this process is that of using inner light to guide UHF sound patterns into a thought form morphogenetic field. The UHF sound patterns literally shatter the energy structure of the thought form, breaking apart the crystallization of slower pulsating energy particles, just as certain tones of sound can cause a glass to shatter in the physical world. Through engaging in this process, you are literally merging the slower pulsation crystallized particles with their antiparticles through the thought form of the sun that you created during the visualization. That sun image translates through your body consciousness as D5 through D8 frequency, the frequency bands of transmutation through which particle and antiparticle merge. When you merge multidimensional particles and antiparticles, you create photons. Through this exercise, you have created a burst of photonic energy within the frequency bands in which thought form crystallization had been. To conclude this exercise, focus upon the image of the sun causing the thought form to explode. Imagine that you can feel this explosion within your body as a sudden burst of energy that runs through your cells from the area in the body where the dark area had been. Visualize this occurring and see the dark area is now filled with radiating light. You may not have to imagine the sensation of energy rushing through you at all, for this is the energetic reality of what is taking place. The degree to which you can sense this energy release will depend upon how sensitized your neurological structure is to higher frequency energy. This sensitivity will increase the more you engage your consciousness in activities such as this exercise. Exercises like this activate dormant DNA codes, which program the body to build a new neural pathways and nerve endings. This increases the body's ability to sense subtle energy and expands the perceptual range of consciousness while it's focused in the body. As you are visualizing light running through your body, Consciously guide that light directly into the DNA, while holding the intention that the body will use this energy to accelerate the DNA building process under the direction of the soul matrix identity. Visualize minute photonic particles moving into and adhering to your double helix DNA strands until you perceive all of the light particles that were released as merging with your DNA. Complete this exercise by visualizing your consciousness returning into the bright light sun. Then move your awareness backward through the dark tunnel until it's focused in your present moment station of consciousness.